Rap isn't real music. Have you ever wondered why so many people seem obsessed with telling us that? It's as the Rolling Stones' Keith Richards puts it, what tone deaf people like to listen to. It's someone yelling over a drum beat. It's an enormous market for people who can't tell one note from the other. Recently, there seems to be a lot of creatives doing this, coming out and saying, this particular genre, or how they do things now, it's not the way they used to do it. It's not real. And therefore, what, no value can be found in it because you don't like it? Who gets to decide what is real creativity? I mean, isn't art supposed to be subjective anyway? But no, according to these guys, there's an objective. What is music and what isn't? Of course, there is a very simple way to dismiss people who levy these claims of rap not being real music is obviously, hey, I mean, you see that it's a majority Black people who are in this industry making this kind of music. Saying that it's not real is a way of discrediting that. However, I'm going to give you a bit more grace than that. I'm actually going to go in a little deeper because this is not a new phenomenon. There's a very specific reason why cultural tastemakers, as we call it in sociology, seem to constantly want to prove themselves as able to distinguish between real and fictional, because obviously it exists. So let's talk about it. Hi, I'm Phyllis, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to be talking about class and culture and how it relates to art.
Thus, it is basically effectively spoken rhythm. And so it's not actually a form of music, it's a form of rhythmic speaking.
Part 1, delegitimizing rap music. As a Black woman, I've always had a bit of a contentious relationship with rap as a genre. Growing up as a Black girl, rap music has always been something that has made me intensely uncomfortable. When I was around 12, 14, around then, that's when Anaconda came out, Work came out. I felt growing up that such portrayals adultified me in a way that I had no control over. I often felt that the cultural portrayals I saw in rap music didn't portray girls like me. Essentially, it told me that as a Black woman, if I wanted to succeed in a creative art, I had to feed into this overt sexualization, and I still don't like that. The women in rap all had a similar aesthetic, similar body types, and a similar theme structure as it is, that no doubt perpetuated what I was feeling. In fact, in a study by Girlhood Interrupted, it found that adults viewed Black girls as somehow less innocent than their non-Black counterparts. Not to blame rap for all that, obviously, and I'm not saying it's a direct result, but it definitely perpetuated a lot of the conceptions around Black girlhood that still exist today. Hey Phyllis, aren't you making this video to defend rap music? Why are you defending it if you don't even like it? And I hear you. It's not that I don't like it. It's just that I have criticisms, is what I'm trying to say. I'd be a straight liar if I said I didn't listen to any rap music. I do. Obviously, I do. But despite my criticisms, I would never say that rap isn't real. Like, to deny its existence. To deem something as not real music is to refuse to engage with it entirely and dismiss it, thereby delegitimizing it. For example, while I did talk about the history of women in rap that I'm not exactly jazzed about, rap has also had a long history of telling the struggles of Black people in America, like poverty, police brutality, drugs, crime, fatherhood, and generational trauma. A lot of rap songs have touched on loads of these topics in such beautiful and complex ways that to completely throw away the entire genre and saying it's not real is to refuse to engage with the very real concerns that are put forward in the music. Rap often is a vehicle of storytelling for the Black American experience. And obviously it's influenced the diaspora. I'm somebody who's British, but that's where it was born, right? Telling the stories of the unheard. The techniques pulled into each line, the ways in which different artistic styles are developed in rap is something to behold. And I'm not a music expert. There are so many people on YouTube who do something so crazy and beautiful, who analyze rap music and all the beauty in it. But to completely say that it's not real is just insane to me. Like, what, is it fictional? Are we all just pretending to hear it? No, obviously not. But when you say something isn't real, you're delegitimizing it. And not only are you delegitimizing it, you're positioning yourself as someone with the power to say that it's not real. Do you see what delegitimizing something is? You're not real. What you like isn't real. What you relate to isn't real. And your stories and your trauma and the way you express yourself, your voice, your sound, not real. I don't see it. I don't hear it. It's crazy, right? Part 2. Framing it in opposition to something else, contrasting it as lesser. Presumably, Daryl Keith thinks that the rock music he made is real, I would presume. So essentially, he's saying that people yelling over a beat, which is what he sums up rap as, only occurs in that genre. I'm assuming that I can find some rock songs where people yell over the guitar or the drum. Like, scream. Literally scream, right? I'm not an expert, of course, and I don't listen to rock music, like, at all, so I'll refrain from saying anything negative. But I'm sure that's common in their genre. It could be common in rap, even though I haven't heard people yelling over a beat. But to sum it down to that, and calling people who enjoy it tone deaf, that's quite degrading, right? Implicitly, when you say a genre of music isn't real music, or a particular form of art isn't real art, you mean to say that there is something that is. So X is not real, but Y is. When I say that something's not real, I'm dismissing it. I'm refusing to engage with it as we explored in part 1. But I'm also saying that it's lesser than the thing that is real, right? Real things, the things that we deem as real, are privileged over things that are fake. That's a lot. Because the opposite of real, fake, fictional, right? So when you say something isn't real, that is to say that it's bad, it's lesser, it's not the right way to enjoy culture, to enjoy music, or to enjoy art. So what is it that people who say rap isn't real, what are they framing rap in opposition to? Another person who famously said rap isn't real, Ben Shapiro. If I can find the video, I might put snips of it, but I watched it quite a while ago, so I'm not sure. So forgive me if my quoting isn't perfect. But he essentially made an appeal to the authority of his classically trained father, is what he said, when he was to deem that rap music isn't real music. He basically said, or like something to the effect of, "Oh, my father's classically trained, and I can tell you that rap isn't real music. Like, it doesn't have whatever." Then he goes into some diatribe about whatever qualities rap doesn't have that makes it not real. In opposition to, of course, classical music, I assume. But both Keith and Ben Shapiro, and people who usually posit that rap isn't real music, what they're attempting to demonstrate is their symbolic power. Full disclosure, I did just graduate from a sociology degree, and now that is your problem. Symbolic power, as defined by Pierre Bourdieu, sorry if I say his name wrong, I've been saying it wrong for so long, is a form of sort of intangible power that the ruling class hold over other people. It's the ability to distinguish certain forms of culture as the right type of culture, the right way of doing things, the correct way to move in the world. Or symbolic violence, which is the implementation of this power, is, for example, say you're at an art gallery and somebody quite well off looking. I don't know if you've seen any of those. There was a comedy skit by these comedy guys, well, comedians, as you do, where they played like this really like obnoxious art critic. I don't know if I can find it, but it was really, I liked it. But this really obnoxious, very, very stereotypical, like, art critic comes up next to you with like a wine in hand, turtleneck, beret, even if you want to get, real imaginative. They stand next to you. They just linger there for a bit, look you up and down like you're not really supposed to be here. And then they ask you, "So what did you think about it?" The piece, I mean. But they don't ask it in such a way where they genuinely want to know. They ask you like a teacher asking you a question that you should have known because it was already covered in our revision session. They ask you like they know the answer and they're trying to test if you know it too. That's an exercise of symbolic power. Symbolic violence comes in when you get it wrong. "Oh, I thought it was alright." It may not even be verbal. It could just be, "Oh, yeah." The look of, "Oh, you're not somebody that I need to engage with. You're not somebody worthy of even appreciating this piece, they may even ask you a further question, like, what did you think about the artist's previous work? How did you think this lends well to their full, like, body of work? They ask you something like that. Not to continue the conversation with you, but to show you how out of depth you are. This isn't a place for you. This isn't a place that you should even dream of entering because you do not belong here. You don't get this art. Not in the way that it's supposed to be understood. Not in the right way that it's supposed to be understood. One of my favorite parts of that is I have an example from the show Killing Eve, where Villanelle plays like a dumbish um, PhD student, right, who studied philosophy, and the antagonist guy is basically starting to quiz her on her knowledge. He's like, "Oh, well, you don't like what did you think about this specific brand of philosophy? What did you think about his?" And she said, "Oh, I thought it was boring." And he kept badgering her about it to basically be like, "Yeah, no, you're dumb. You're stupid. You don't get it. You're dumb. You're dumb. You're dumb. You don't get it the way it's supposed to be gotten. You don't understand, and you don't belong here. You don't belong in this space with me and the people who get it." Right? That's the exercise of symbolic violence. If I can find the scene and also not get copyrighted while putting it in, I'll put it in. But that's essentially what it is. It's you don't belong here. You don't get it. When people frame rap music in opposition to something like classical music, the point of doing that is to position rap music as lesser, cheap, easy, dumb, and classical music pedestalize it as better, hard, complex, worthy, valuable, right? Because it's never, oh, I like classical music because of X, Y, and Z. I find it very interesting. I study da da da. It's never that. It's, I don't like rap. Rap isn't real music. Real music is classical music. Real music is rock music. Real music is something that's more palatable to me. Part 3, the power in asserting yourself as an arbiter of taste. So I go back to my first question when I began this video. Why is it that people feel the need to declare from the rooftops that rap isn't real music? I think the main reason people do this, they may not even recognize it, or they may well do, is to distinguish and demarcate themselves, and also to assert their own power and dominance. Both the two gentlemen I talked about, by their own admission that they don't enjoy rap music. They don't listen to it, they've never made it, they've never really engaged with it. Yet despite the fact that they've never been inside the community to hear what it's about, understand anything about it, they still feel they have the right to make these sweeping, often, well, definitely disparaging comments and generalizations about a whole genre of music. They aren't ingratiated into the culture or the genre by their own admission. Still, they feel they have the right to say what you enjoy, what you make, what you love and put your heart and soul into as a creative is not real to me. It doesn't exist in my world. And it'd be fine. This is different from people who just don't enjoy it and don't listen to it. But the people who feel the need to speak on it with such authority and disgust are the ones I'm talking about. What gives them the right to expel such vitriol for music they don't know or enjoy or even understand? Now, as I said before, I'm not a music historian, right? There are people who can go into the whole depths of what made rap, what made blues, what made the whole lineage of it, of this oral tradition of storytelling, which, I mean, has still carried on in some shape or form. But there are beautiful videos about that somewhere, and articles and journals and all that. For example, I have never listened to the Rolling Stones. Perhaps maybe they were playing in like a supermarket or something. But I'm not one for rock. If they're the greatest of all time, I haven't heard a lick of their work, but I'm assuming it's great for them to be so immortalized. For some people, that may make me uncultured that I don't listen to this specific genre or this specific artist, you know? But one of the things I refrain from doing is leveling such harsh criticism from something I haven't even dipped my toe into. Because to me, I'd accept that it's neither my place as a listener or creator to really level criticism at rock. The criticism I leveled at rap was obviously from someone who's understood it, right? Who's been impacted by it, right? Which is why my criticism can remain nuanced. I can point out things that make me uncomfortable, things I don't like about the genre, while also understanding its cultural significance. because I understand the checks and balances, or essentially the criteria rap needs to meet within itself, because like, imagine the boldness to say, listen, how you judge your music or how you understand the things that you create is wrong. I'm the one who gets to determine what it is you're doing. I'm the one who gets to interpret the meaning of your words. Isn't that insane? Now I could go into a whole post-colonial analysis on this entire mindset, but I'd like to keep this video short. For me, while I recognize rock is not for me, I know that there are people who enjoy it, people who love it, I could say the same thing about rock, about any genre that is not real music, but I wouldn't, because that's just unnecessary. Just because I myself don't enjoy it or aren't particularly invested doesn't mean that I don't recognize that there are so many people who love it. So why? Why would somebody say something like that? But I would say what we consume, often, maybe because of our society currently, says a lot about ourselves. We take in what we consume as part of our identity. Some of my playlists, the type of music I like to listen to, I definitely think that's part of who I am, what I enjoy. And for some people, enjoying what you like or liking what you like cannot be enough. It has to be liking what you like and disliking what other people like, or liking what you like in contrast to other things. I'm not entirely sure why, because that's not how I like to consume things. However, it's quite normal or widespread, as it were. What we tend to consume still outwardly says something about who we are. If I'm someone who engages in art or music that has a high barrier of entry behind prestige or wealth, and take it from someone who used to take singing lessons and guitar lessons with a full band and orchestra when I was in primary school, developing and nurturing a skill like that takes a lot of time and money. But don't ask me to play anything because I don't go anymore. I still have my guitar, but it's collecting dust. Okay. But rap, ironically, has a lower barrier of entry. Whether it's a kid just messing around on GarageBand, or posting to SoundCloud starting out, or posting to YouTube just a rap over a random beat, it's a lot of lower barrier to entry than composing a whole beautiful symphony. Both are still beautiful art forms that have different things to say and different contexts in which they were made. But when you say one doesn't matter or one isn't real, you're not just saying, oh my, what I like is better, what I like is good, and what you like is bad, even though you are definitely saying that. You're also saying that an entire story, an entire life, an entire perspective of seeing the world, that too isn't real. Anyway, that's all from me. Just made me think a little. Thank you so much for watching my video. I've been Phyllis, and I make videos every Sunday, so come back to see what's brewing in my noggin. XOX, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye! This day that God is